Entry 8. Disorienting Days. July 5, 1918. Time itself feels warped within this region of the ridge. I awoke this morning with a profound sense of disorientation, unsure of how many hours had passed since I last closed my eyes. The sun, when it finally became apparent through the dense canopy, still bore that unsettling green tint. My attempts to map the immediate vicinity have proven futile. The compass continues to spin erratically, and even my triangulation methods, reliant on visible landmarks, are failing. Trees that appeared in one location yesterday seem to have subtly shifted today, or perhaps my own perception is being altered. The landscape feels fluid, mutable, defying precise measurement. I try to conduct more extensive acoustic surveys with my phonograph, setting up a series of sensors to capture any subtle vibrations in the ground or air. The results were perplexing. Instead of the expected ambient noise or even silence, the needles on the recording mechanism registered a chaotic flurry of impossible frequencies, patterns that defied musical notation or even conventional waveforms. It was not static, but a complex, uninterpretable chaos of sound that suggested a realm beyond human auditory perception. It was as if the very air itself was alive with unmeaningful data. The feeling of being watched has intensified. It's a pervasive awareness, a chill that has nothing to do with temperature. It's not malevolent, merely observing. An ancient, patient gaze that sees without eyes, comprehends without thought. It fills me with a profound existential dread. My very insignificance in the face of such a presence is a crushing weight. Time disorientation. Failed mapping attempts due to shifting landscape perception. Chaotic, uninterpretable acoustic readings. Intensified sense of indifferent observation. Profound existential dread. Entry 9. The Pressure Builds. July 6, 1918. Another day bleeds into another within this oppressive pocket of reality. The green light persists, a constant, sickly reminder of the unnatural forces at play. My head aches with a dull, persistent thrumming, a resonance that seems to originate deep within the earth yet vibrates directly behind my eyes. It is unlike any headache I've ever experienced, almost like a pressure building from the inside out. I stumbled upon a grove of trees today that seemed wrong. Their bark was smooth, almost like flesh, and they pulsed faintly with the same sickly green light that saturates the air. They emitted no warmth, no discernible energy, yet their presence was deeply unsettling. I felt a palpable revulsion, an instinctual recoil from something utterly alien to the natural world. My sanity feels fragile. I find myself questioning everything. My purpose here, the reality of my observations, even my own identity. The isolation, coupled with the inexplicable phenomena, is taking its toll. I try to cling to logic, to scientific method, but the very fabric of those certainties seems to unravel with each passing hour. I have begun to experience fleeting hallucinations, shadows that shift at the periphery of my vision, whispered fragments of sound that vanish upon conscious attention. Are they merely the product of exhaustion and isolation, or are they subtle incursions from whatever entity pervades this place? The line between objective reality and subjective madness blurs with terrifying speed. Persistent green light and internal thrumming. Discovery of unsettling, pulsating trees. Growing sense of mental fragility. Fleeting hallucinations observed. Entry 10. The Veils Thinning. July 7, 1918. The thrumming has intensified, now a constant, low roar that vibrates through the ground and up into my very bones. It is a physical sensation, painful and disorienting. The air is heavy, thick with an unseen presence, making every breath a conscious effort. I attempted to re-examine the pulsating trees from yesterday. As I approached, the very air around them seemed to shimmer, distorting my vision. I saw no distinct form, but rather a shifting, inchoate mass of color and shadow within the shimmering air, just beyond the trees themselves. It defied my brain's ability to categorize or comprehend. It was a glimpse, I believe, of something formless, something that exists outside of our conventional understanding of shape and dimension. My philosophical convictions, once a sturdy bulwark against the absurd, are crumbling. The universe, I now suspect, is not merely vast and indifferent, but actively alien. Our lives, our loves, our struggles, they are inconsequential, less than a fleeting thought to the cosmic forces that truly govern existence. This realization is not merely depressing, it is maddening. The sheer, overwhelming insignificance of humanity. I find myself drawn deeper into the ridge, not by conscious will, but by an almost magnetic compulsion. It is the pull of ultimate knowledge, however terrifying. My scientific curiosity has transformed into a morbid obsession, an undeniable drive to understand the source of this profound horror, even if it means losing myself in the process. Thrumming intensifies. Visual distortions and glimpses of formless entity near trees. Philosophical convictions crumbling. Sense of human insignificance. Growing compulsion to venture deeper. Entry 11. Signs of the Unspeakable. July 8, 1918. The thrumming is now a constant, roaring presence in my skull, a deep bass note that vibrates with every step I take. The air grows heavy with a metallic tang, like ozone before a great electrical storm, yet there are no clouds in the perpetually green-tinged sky. I discovered what appeared to be an ancient, weathered stone altar today, half buried in the overgrown earth. Its surface was covered in carvings that defied any known script or artistic style. They were not hieroglyphs or cuneiform, but patterns of impossible geometry, angles that curved where they should be straight, lines that intersected in ways that broke the rules of Euclidean space. Staring at them for too long induced a dizzying nausea, a profound sense of cognitive dissonance. It felt as if my brain was trying to process a visual language it was not equipped to understand. Beside the altar, the ground was strangely disturbed, as if something immense had been dragged across it. The earth was torn, not by roots or erosion, but by a force of unimaginable power. I found no tracks, no distinct impressions, just the raw, brutal evidence of immense pressure and displacement. The silence here is not merely the absence of sound, but a profound, resonant stillness that seems to absorb all light and energy. It is a terrifying nullity, a vacuum of sensory input that heightens the feeling of isolation and insignificance. I am utterly alone, confronted by the undeniable evidence of something vast and ancient that slumbers beneath this mountain. Thrumming pervasive. Metallic scent in air. Discovery of ancient, geometrically impossible altar. Evidence of immense, unidentifiable force. Terrifying, resonant silence. Entry 12. A malignant presence. July 9, 1918. Morning. The atmosphere around me feels increasingly dense, almost viscous, as if I am moving through a medium thicker than air. The green light has intensified, bathing the forest in a perpetual twilight of alien hue. My body aches, not from exertion, but from an internal tremor, a profound vibration that resonates with the thrumming of the earth. I feel a profound mental fatigue, an overwhelming exhaustion that seeps into my very thoughts, making coherent reasoning difficult. Yet, a terrible clarity has emerged. The things that sleep beneath the earth from the local folklore are not mere superstitions. They are real, and they are here. My instruments are utterly useless now. The seismograph's needle oscillates frantically, recording impossible magnitudes. The phonograph emits only a deafening, unintelligible roar that makes my ears ache. They have ceased to measure the world and have begun to merely reflect the chaos that surrounds me. I have located the source of the magnetic anomalies, the ultimate objective of my expedition. It lies ahead, a dark, gaping maw in the earth, barely visible through the oppressive gloom. It is not a natural cave, not a geological formation, but a wound, a tear in the very fabric of reality. A faint, sickly luminescence pulses from within its depths, drawing me forward with an irresistible, terrifying pull. It is the color of bruised flesh and stagnant water. The air here tastes of ozone and decay, a vile concoction that makes my stomach churn. I know, with an absolute, terrifying certainty, that whatever dwells within that fissure is beyond human comprehension, beyond human scale, beyond human sanity. My purpose, my quest for knowledge, has led me to the precipice of absolute truth, and the cost, I fear, will be everything. Atmosphere dense, green light intense, profound mental fatigue and clarity about entities, instruments useless, reflecting chaos, located source of anomalies, a pulsing, sickly fissure, impending confrontation with ultimate truth. Entry 13, The Threshold, July 9th, 1918, late afternoon. I stand before it now. The fissure. It gapes in the earth like a wound, not a natural crack, but something deliberately torn. The sickly luminescence emanating from its depths pulses with a slow, deliberate rhythm, a beat that seems to mirror the thrumming in my own skull. The air is heavy, almost suffocating, with the stench of ozone and something indescribably ancient, like stagnant time. My mind is reeling, struggling to reconcile what my eyes behold with any known reality. The light within is not merely a glow, but a distortion of perception, bending the air around it into impossible angles, causing the very concept of depth to fracture. I can see no distinct form within, only a shifting, inchoate mass of colors that twist and writhe like abstract horrors. It is pure chaos, given form. A profound sense of existential dread has settled over me, a cold, crushing weight that steals my breath. My carefully constructed world, built on logic and reason, has shattered into a million pieces. The universe, I now perceive, is not just larger than humanity. It is utterly, horrifyingly indifferent. Our struggles, our triumphs, our very existence, are less than a fleeting thought to the ancient, unknowable entities that stir within such abyssal places. I feel a terrible, magnetic pull towards the fissure. It is not a desire to enter, but a primal compulsion, an overwhelming need to understand, to witness, to bear witness to the ultimate truth. My hand trembles as I write these final words, the ink blurring on the page. The last vestiges of my sanity are slipping, dissolving like smoke in the presence of this overwhelming, cosmic horror. I do not know what I will find when I look into that abyss, but I know that I will not be the same. Perhaps I will not be at all. At the fissure, sensory distortion, profound existential dread, absolute indifference of cosmos understood, uncontrollable compulsion to witness, sanity fading rapidly. Entry 14, near Blackwood Ridge, July 6, 1918. The train ride from Knoxville was grueling, but the journey into these remote Appalachian hollows by mule cart has been worse. Still, the isolation is precisely what I seek. The rumors of Blackwood Ridge have reached even the dusty archives of the Society, tales of inexplicable silence and a dread that transcends mere superstition. My informant, a grizzled prospector named Silas, spoke of places where the air don't breathe right, and a darkness that ain't from the night. Such pronouncements, though steeped in local idiom, resonate with the faint, unsettling reports that first piqued my interest. My equipment, meticulously packed and secured, includes the latest in acoustic recording apparatus and a newly calibrated seismograph. Primitive by metropolitan standards, perhaps, but the best available for field work in such unforgiving terrain. My initial scans of the periphery of the ridge show nothing out of the ordinary. Usual seismic activity for the region, expected atmospheric pressures. Yet, there's a subtle disquiet in the very absence of anomalies. It's too quiet, almost. A profound quietude that feels imposed, rather than natural. Setting up my preliminary camp tonight. The air is cool, fragrant with pine and damp earth, but a strange stillness pervades. No owl hoots, no distant coyote cry. The stars are brilliant here, unmarred by city lights, but tonight they seem to watch, cold and indifferent. My mind races with theories, hypotheses to test, patterns to decipher. This expedition feels different, more profound. I sense I am on the verge of something significant, something that might redefine the very parameters of my understanding. Initial scouting. Unusual quietude noted. Anticipation building.